Hey, welcome back to the channel. So here we have patch 3.4.24 details, and it's an esper that we've been waiting for. Siegfried is coming, finally. Like everybody who played Dislyte, like ever since it came out, we've seen the story of Bride and Siegfried. And we've been waiting until the day that we can finally play Sieg, and this is the day. And by the coming of Siegfried in here, we have a new element. Look at this, Umbra. Wow, what is this? I mean, like, in the tutorial, like if we go to the game and go to the settings and see the interaction between all the elements, like I don't think they provide a spot there for Umbra. So I don't know what's the interaction between Umbra and the other element. Like what's the difference? Most likely it's gonna be like a simmer. Like it doesn't have any pros and cons against other elements. But for simmer itself, it has a benefit by another simmer. Like for example, Everett, like Everett makes all other simmer esper become stronger, and then other characters like it's go back to Everett again. Like if Everett attacks non-Simmer Esper, then they will get advantage. So a Simmer Esper can at least somehow counter the Everett's effect. So Umbra is kind of like they want who to have the neutrality of Simmer, but they don't want Seek to have the benefit of a Simmer legendary Esper. Probably something around that, but I don't know. Like we will see later in the PTR testing whether the Umbra explanation is provided there, or we just gotta have to find out ourselves. If they don't provide any explanation about the element, then most likely what I said is true, like the neutrality of Simmer element, but without any advantage of disadvantage or interaction between other Simmer legendary espers. So Sing is a fighter esper who can inflict debuffs that ignore immunity effect. Me likey. Like, if you've been, playing together with me this whole time, you know that I love debuffs so much. Even in other games, like, debuffs are, kind of like uh, a mechanic that a game developer adds for you to change the flow of the game without like trying to get your character as strong as you can. Like don't brute force the game. You need to be smart in applying your debuff. Like a level 1 character will always have the same utility as a maximum level character if they have the same debuffs. So that's the strength of debuffs. Like if you watch me playing Summoner's War Chronicles, like a couple of years ago. Oh my god, it's been years. Yeah, you know that for a free-to-play players to play side by side with a pay-to-win players, you need to be the one providing buffs and debuffs so that your pay-to-win players will get even stronger. Like you become the support character, the support player, and that's the purpose of debuffs and buffs. And that's why I love debuffs and buffs so much. Not so much for the buffs, I love debuffs more. So this one, when I saw this, like I thought, oh my god, it can ignore the immunity effects. Apparently, it's not as good as that. It dispels the immunity. Okay, I thought it's gonna be. Oh my god! Even if the enemy have immunity, the debuffs will go in. That means that I can now debuff Wuyo, which is not that good. I mean, the Sig is not that good. I thought it's gonna be OP like that. So we're gonna see his skills. Ability 1, Beat. Attacks one enemy, dealing damage based on attack. After Ascension, also inflicts buff blocker on the target. Great. We don't have that many buff blocker on ability 1 espers, So we have another buff blocker, just like Momo. Yeah. Momo have a buff blocker, but hers is superior because she also dispels the enemy. So if the enemy still have like immunity on them, then this not gonna go in the buff blocker. So Still, it's quite okay. Now, ability 2, Dragonfire Amplifier. Active attacks all enemies dealing damage based on attack. This spells immunity, so this is great. It specifically mentions immunity, so no matter how many buffs the enemy have, it will always dispel the immunity. And gains Absorb and Recovery. Absorb is back, guys. So it's gone from Abigail, and now it comes back in Sieg. I knew it. Like when I think if you scroll back to my video when they change Abigail's skill set and remove the absorb, I mentioned there that they gonna prepare to give the absorb to someone else who's gonna be more OP in having that absorb, and it's correct in here. Yeah, they gave it to Sieg. I think they're already cooking Sieg when they change Abigail's skill set. Yeah, when they rework Abigail, they are cooking Sieg by that time. Oh ho ho ho! So they give it to Sieg now. They absorb. So that means that too bad it cannot. He cannot give it to other Esper. Only he himself that gains the absorb, and yeah, it only affects himself. So he is the only one who will get the lifesteal benefit. But it is good. It's okay. Like at least he can. You don't need to give him another set. He already have the lifesteal, so he can somehow probably survive. I don't know. He is a fighter, so he definitely have low health. So hoping that he have enough maximum HP to survive and get the lifesteal going. Like lifesteal is useless if you get one shotted. If you die too fast, then there is no purpose of lifestealing. Now, if Sieg is deployed in the second leftmost position, just like Aira, the position matters now. Second leftmost position, so not the captain, grants all allies Dragon Breath for 2 turns. So he needs to be in the second leftmost position most of the time because there is no other benefit putting him in other position. So this is kind of like pros and cons, like we've known so far that position matters. If you have the exact same Esper, if you have the exact same speed, the one in the leftmost position will move first. So position matters for speed, but now you are forced to put Sieg in the second leftmost position. So it's gonna mess up some lineup, but yeah, you can go around, go around this thing. And the Dragon Breath itself increases attack after attacking triggers Echo Scar damage on the target and grants Sieg Cadence. Now the Echo Scar damage, we're gonna go into this because this is the most interesting part about him, and we're gonna try this in the PTR. So it increases the attack of the allies for 2 turns, which is great. Depending on the how much attack we are talking about here, he can be a fighter that also buff his allies. So the utility is there. This is great. If the attack is somehow good, then that means that you can bring him in the PvE too. Just to buff up your main DPS. So the passive here is that when cast, if Raging Finale, the third skill, is not on cooldown, immediately cast Raging Finale 1 extra time. So hopefully the AI will cast the second ability first before he goes into the third ability. Because if the AI goes third ability first, that means that the Raging Finale will definitely be on cooldown. Okay, so this one will not take effect when he casts ability 2. Okay. So there's the mentioning here that when cast, so it's definitely only happen on ability to cast. So hopefully the AI will cast the ability to first. That means that it gonna cast ability to, then immediately cast Raging Finale 1 extra time. This is great. If cadence stacks are max, further reduces all ability cooldowns. So I don't know how this works. Like if you cast this first, definitely all ability cooldowns are still up. Like it's not gonna be on cooldown. So we're gonna try this out in the PTR. Like which one goes first and which one actually helps which one. Like reducing all ability cooldowns means that you want these skills to happen last, but when Raging Finale is not on cooldown means that you want this to happen in the very beginning. So it's just kind of like, you know, contradict each other. So yeah, now we go to the ability tree, Raging Finale. As usual, ability tree is where the hype is. Attacks all enemies dealing damage based on attack and triggering poison, bleed, and echo scar damage on the target. So like I said in here, echo scar damage is very interesting here because it is a new dots damage over time damage, and so making Seek the master of dots. Oh my god, he has poison, he has bleed, and he has an extra damage over time debuff. So this is insane. Look at this echo scar, undispellable, and this is a golden debuff poison, which is OP. Oh my god. Its stack reduces the target's attack and defense. At the end of the carrier's turn, they take damage equal to the number of stacks multiplied by a percentage of 6 attacks. So it works exactly like bleed, but we know that bleed ignores the enemy's defense. Like it takes the damage based on the debuff first attack, but it ignores the enemy's defense, which is the good part about bleed. So it works exactly like bleed, but with the additional attack and defense reduction. And this effect is stackable and lasts 2 turns. So the bad news is that for poison and bleed, you can keep giving the enemy 12 different debuffs. Like they don't stack on top of each other. They actually perform like a separate debuff. So this one, I think it gotta be only one golden debuff on an enemy with numbers, like little numbers on them. So this effect is stackable and lasts for 2 turns. Like too bad you cannot, overflow the enemy with debuff. Like it only counts as one debuff. So as per that gets damage increase depending on how many debuffs the enemy has. This one doesn't add to that. Like it only count as one. It only adds one extra debuff count, because it's stackable on its own little debuff icon. So yeah, this is great. The master of damage over time, and I love it. I love playing with damage over time. In a lot of RPG games, I play mostly damage over time because you can do something else while the damage still going on, and you can focus on doing other things while you know that your enemy is still getting damage. That's the beauty of damage over time. So resonance 1 increases the damage of each echo scar stack, which is great. Like if the echo scar really deals higher damage than poison and the standard bleed. Like poison, we know that it deals percentage maximum HP of the enemy. So the stronger the enemy, the higher the poison damage is. So nothing can beat this maximum percentage HP damage. But we will see if the echo scar can at least deal very high damage over time damage. Like if this takes, for example, like we don't know how many percentage of 6 attack. Like if this number is high, that means that this echo scar will be OP, and it can be further increased by resonance 1. Now resonance 2, Dragonfire Amplifier. New passive effect at the start of that battle grants Dragon Breath to all allies and inflicts Echo Scar on all enemies. So the moment the battle starts, they already have a damage over time on them, and this is insane because the new gameplay that they're gonna introduce, like in here. Well, let me see. This one, yes. Transcendence skills. We're gonna talk about this later after this. And the Transcendence skills can get a lot of benefit from the Echo Scar because the Transcendence goes into Javid. We're gonna go into that later. Okay, and at the start of the battle, grants trigger to all allies means that all allies will have increased attack from the beginning, and when they attack, it triggers echo scar damage on the target and grants Seek dance. So this can happen at the very beginning. You don't need Seek to move first to cast to put the echo scar on the enemy. You can have like Espen like Tolan, you can have Chu Yao, you can have Feng Sun to start triggering the Echo Scar damage and also grant Seek Dance from the very beginning of the battle. So this one, the Resonance 2, almost a must, a must have, almost a must have for Seek, because this is very, very important. Otherwise, you need Seek to move first and cast his ability tree for the debuff to start rolling in. Whereas if you have Resonance 2, then you can already see the damage going without Seek even move. Now Resonance 4, new passive effect, when enemies take damage from Poison, Bleak, or Echo Scar, inflicts extra Echo Scar on them. A huge power spike, because by now, we don't know how many times this effect can stack. If this effect can stack like 10 times, 20 times, 15 times, because we know if you inflict poison or bleed, the damage is limited on the amount of debuffs the enemy can hold. And the maximum amount of debuffs any Esper can hold is 12 debuffs. So you are limited also with the defense down, attack down, seer, blah blah blah, any other debuff. It will force the poison debuff to get removed, and you only have less than 12 poison debuff on the enemy, or the bleed debuff. But for Echo Scar, the stacking here is really gonna be how to say, our analysis on how on whether this skill is OP or not. So we will see how many stacks they can have. But look at this. The thing is that for the Resonance 4, when enemies take damage from Poison, Bleed, or Echo Scar definitely only comes from Seek, but it doesn't mention that the Poison and Bleed must come from Seek. So if you bring someone like Hilda, if you bring someone like Lui who can inflict bleed, or who else can inflict bleed, or Osana, then the Poison and Bleed most likely can trigger this, which is great. Like you can pair up Seek together with Hilda, and you can inflict a lot of chaos on the enemy. Like you all know that Hilda Resonance is insanely strong. You can make the enemy sleep at the very beginning of the battle. Now with this, at the start of the battle, enemy have Echo Scar on all of them, and they sleep at the beginning, and they can get triggered by any attack from any source, because all allies have the Dragon Breath. That is great. So, going to Resonance 6, new passive effect, when Seek dies, if there is an enemy with the max Echo Scar stacks, removes all their Echo Scar stacks and revives Seek. Oh ho ho ho. This is crazy. Like, we know that Seek can inflict the Echo Scar by casting the third skill. He can reduce his own cooldown, ability cooldowns. But the most important one is that allies who has Dragon Breath can also contribute in this Echo no, it triggers Echo Scar damage, but it doesn't increase the stack. Yeah, this one. Inflict Echo Scar on the target after every attack. So, and applies extra Echo Scar on the attacker when counter attack. So only Seek himself can apply the Echo Scar. The allies can only explode the damage. So the thing is that here, it doesn't mention that the triggering will reduce the Echo Scar stack. I don't know. Like, we will see in the PTR. Like if the Echo Scar after triggering it explode and it's gone, then we're gonna need to change our gameplay, because that means that if you pair Seek with someone like Suichai who moves really, really fast, then there is no way you can get a maximum Echo Scar stacks. There is no way you will ever reach this, because it keeps on exploding. But if it only deals the damage and the stack doesn't get reduced, every time your allies attack, that means that you're only purpose is to make your Zeke move as fast as possible or counterattack as many times as possible and try to inflict the echo scar on all of your enemies to the maximum stake. And if that happens when the enemy have maximum echo scar stacks, Zeke will get revived instantly when he died. But the most important one is that here, if the echo scar stacks cannot go down when the allies trigger it, that means that your enemy will have 5 espers who you can possibly have maximum echo scar stacks. Okay, so if there is an enemy with maximum, it removes all their echo scar stacks. So if you die, it will remove one enemy esper who have echo scar stacks at maximum, but you still have the other 4 with a maximum echo scar stacks. So that means that Zeke can revive 5 times. And that doesn't mention that if once he revived, the enemy who has maximum echo scar stacks will get removed, like one of them, like let's say Esper A, got all of his echo scar stacks removed, and if you hit him enough times before you die again, he will go back to a maximum echo scar stacks, and you have a chance to get revived again before you die. So let's say we have Esper A, B, C, D, E. Like you die, get revived. You inflict echo scar stacks. First you inflict echo scar stacks to all of 5 of them to the maximum. Then your Zeke die. Then Esper A will get their echo scar stacks removed. Now you try to inflict echo scar stacks again on Esper A, but your Zeke dies again. Then the Esper B, the enemy Esper B, will get all of their echo scar stacks removed. Now you still inflicting, trying to get your Esper A to the maximum echo scar stack. Then you die again. Then Esper C will get all their echo scar stacks removed. And by the time it reaches to enemy Esper E, you definitely will already able to manage to give enemy Esper A maximum echo scar stacks. You get what I mean? So if the rotation is nice, if everything aligns, that means that your Zeke will never ever die as long as he is able to keep getting maximum echo scar stacks on his enemies. Wow, this is insane. This is great. Like definitely, if all of the things that I said, like hopefully it works like that. But if it's not as nice as I said it is, like when we try in the PTR testing, at the very least, Zeke is the master of dots. That's all. He is just the master of dots. Yeah. And debuffing, reducing attack and defense. We also don't know how much attack and defense are being reduced here. If the reduction is similar to attack down and defense down, that means that this is insane, because that means that you can stack this together with the actual attack down and defense down, meaning that the enemy will have double attack down and double defense down, which means that if in the PvE, if this can reduce by a high number, that means that aside from giving the enemy defense down and seer, and probably like someone like Elif, who can also inflict what is that debuff? The one that increase the enemy's damage taken. You can also now use Echo Scar to further reduce the boss's defense and inflict insane amount of damage from your main DPS. Like most likely gonna be Elif again, But just remember that you now have defense down, Seer, the Elif debuff, and who else? Too bad Chuyo's Calamity doesn't work on bosses, the one that increases enemy damage taken. Oh, Sujue's Puppet Art can increase the boss's damage taken, and then Chehe also increase the boss's damage taken. For who is that? Swanpin increase your main DPS damage. It's not a debuff, but aside from all those things that I said, now you have Echo's card. So definitely get him. Use him in both PvE and PvP, and you will definitely see your damage getting increased. But also, depending on how much defense reduction are we talking about here. But still, it is on top of the current already defense down on the boss. So no matter how much the number is, it will definitely gonna increase your damage output. The only limitation for you is the number of espers that you can bring in a team. Now we have too many espers, but we still can only bring 5 espers to a boss battle. So yeah, the number of esper is the only limitation now. We have so many options, whether it is for PvE and PvP, that a lot of lineups are, viable. Now, this one can be drawn from the Nocturne Echo's pool. So aside from the Golden Echo, aside from the, the other echoes out there, we now have a new pool, Nocturne Echoes pool. Hopefully, I don't know what's the currency that they accept in here, but we will see. Yeah, like can we use the golden echo card, or is gonna require a new, or this one, we use Ether Disc to spin for a chance of the new Umbra Esper. Yeah, then with Nexus Crystals or through packs, and will expire after the event ends. Ooh, so definitely save up your Nexus Crystals, use it on Seek, try to get as many Seek as you can. When you have that, there's a 50%, it will be Seek. This is great. This guarantees that at least for those of you who aims to have Seek, you will have a high chance of Resonance 0 Seek. But to get him to Resonance 6, you need to be really, really lucky, especially you need to spend some money if you want. But good luck for everyone to get your Seek to as high resonance as possible. If it isn't, the next legendary event is guaranteed to be Seek. Yes, this is nice. Just like the Simmer Echo, Celebrate the arrival of the new Umbra Explorer. The Union will be sending out Ether Disc via mail. Stay tuned. Yes, nice. So everybody will hopefully have Resonance 0 Seek by the end of this event. So try to get him, because you will never be able to get him again after the event ends, okay? So good luck. Now, we gotta go and talk about Transcendence. Look at this. And what is this? The new aspects now available for switching on the bounty stage. For switching Seek. To unlock this feature, you need to meet. Oh, this is the bounties. Yeah, we now have this boom. We usually have this boom. Now we have the meta era. Now we also be able to change it to Seek. So I'm guessing the Seek one is for all of you ladies who play this game, and the meta era for all of you boys who play this game. Now the new system, Transcendence. The unit research team has discovered an ancient material that allows compatible experts to undergo Transcendence and gain even greater power. In ritual miracle, specific experts can undergo Transcendence using designated materials. After Transcendence, their abilities and attributes will be greatly enhanced. So we don't know how this gonna go. Like, do you have a new ritual miracle states, or in the current ritual miracle states they're gonna give you an extra item drop or something? The first expert available for Transcendent is Javid. This Transcendent material can be obtained through championships. More experts will come available for Transcendence in the future. Keep an eye out for updates of championships. This is nice, because we already maxed out on our resonance. They give us divinate to further specialize our esper. Now everybody have a maximum divinate. They now give you a transcendence for all of you to keep playing, like experiment on espers here and there. And the best part about transcendence is that it mostly gonna change the strength of the esper. Like, it's gonna upgrade the strength even further. Like for divinate, it somehow only affect a little bit, like if I were to give it a number, like probably strengthen your Esper by 20%, but for Transcendence it is higher than that. I already take a little bit of sneak peek on this Transcendence, so we're gonna see this. Okay, let's see. Javid Shamas, Transcendent Skill Effects and Balance Adjustment. The Union Research Team has discovered blah, 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 blah. Phase 8, Transcendence Phase 2, Ascension Effect. New effect, Divine Mind. When passive, whenever an enemy takes through damage, increases attack permanently up to a limit. Also gains AP, triggers once per turn against each target. This is insane. You know why? Because whenever an enemy takes through damage, it doesn't mention the source needs to be from Javid. That means that if you bring Sujue, every single attack that you do are true damage. So this is crazily strong. you will be able to reach your maximum attack increase very very fast. Too bad they have a limit in here, but it is also good. Like, definitely not gonna make Javid too OP because of this, but it's very easy to deal true damage against enemies by now. We have a lot of sources, and Javid himself is already a really good true damage dealer. Uh, my favorite combo, my Javid and Archibald combo. It's been a long time since we found that out, and I still been using them, of course, because I'm the one who found it. And yeah, it's been fun. Now it's getting strengthened even further. We will see down here, like it's getting crazily good. Phase 11, Transcendence Phase 5, Ascension Effect, New Effect. I don't know what this phase number. Like, we probably need to do a stage first or something. New Effect, Eternal Light. Passive gains Sacred Flame for 2 turns at the start of combat. Sacred Flame absorbs damage based on attack. So you have a shield on Javid, which makes him viable now. Because the weakness of Javid is that he needs to move to inflict his third skill before he is, how to say, have anything to do on the battlefield, But because he is not a speedster, so it is very hard for him to survive before he is able to use his third skill in most situations, except for PvE combat, So in PvP, not many players use Javid, even though in triple threat, I sometimes use Javid and Archibald combo in there if my enemy doesn't have espers that immune to debuff. I sometimes just use them, just see all the red numbers that, straight away kill the enemy, because you can inflict 100% maximum HP damage using Javid and Archibald combo. So now Javid will have extra survivability because of this absorb, this shield, and resets the cooldown of Eternal Light and gains 1 extra turn when this effect ends. This is great. So I forgot which one is Eternal Light. This one, the start of combat. Oh yeah. So just go down of Eternal Light. So you get the Eternal Light gives you Sacred Flame for 2 turns. Once the Sacred Flame expire, then you can cast your Sacred Flame again. So this means that it's almost a permanent shield, Not almost. It is a permanent shield, Because when this effect ends, can happen by 2 things, Whether it expire after 2 turns, or the enemy deals enough damage for the shield to be gone. And then the cooldown will be reset and you can have this again. So it is a permanent shield, So that's great. Javid will be quite tanky. So he is now, if you have Javid on Transcendence, he is now viable, very, very viable in PvP now. Balance changes. Divine Might attacks all enemies, dealing damage 1 attack, and inflicts Shear for 2 turns. deals extra true damage to target afflicted with Judgment Seal, true damage 30% of their maximum HP up to 100% of Javid's attack. Against AP upon landing a crit, different targets are calculated independently. So I think Divine Might is the second skill of Javid, and the change is now the limit on extra true damage that has been increased from 100% to 200% of Javid's attack. Now, 100% is already high enough because I've already, when I found Javid and Archibald's combo, 100% of Javid's attack is enough to kill anyone from 100% maximum HP to 0%. If you combo Javid with Archibald. So now with 200% of Javid's attack, that means that you will kill the enemy twice faster. That is insane, And you can now, kill an even stronger enemies. Because in some PvE content, when the enemy have insane amount of HP, you are limited. The true damage that you deal is limited by Javid's attack, because the enemy have a higher HP than your Javid can provide with his attack. So Archibald is the one deals more damage than Javid because Archibald's true damage percentage HP damage is not limited by his attack, So now Javid can be comparable to Archibald in this situation. When the enemy have insane amount of HP, Javid will now deal as much true damage as Archibald if it is double like this. Now Judgment Seal, the third skill. When the target afflicted with Judgment Seal, the carrier takes a hit, deals slash damage. This is the debuff, the Judgment Seal debuff. Yes. Yes. This is the debuff from Javid. When the target inflicted with Judgment Seal, the carrier takes a hit, deals splash damage. This is what makes Archibald and Javid combo works, Also true damage to two of their teammates, including the carrier themselves, randomly. Splash damage 5% of their maximum HP up to 50% of Javid's attack. Triggers once per turn, multiple Judgment Seal effects on different targets will be calculated individually. So, the change is that the limit on splash damage dealt by Judgment Seal has been increased from 50% to 200%. This is so broken. Because, 50%, like I said, is enough to kill the enemy from 100% maximum HP to 0% in 2 turns. In 2 turns, the duration of the Judgment Seal. In 2 turns, it is enough to kill any enemies from 100 to 0. Now you increase the damage to 200%. That means that from the very beginning, once you are successfully inflicting the Judgment Seal and then one swing from Archibald, the enemy only need to move once each for you to kill all of them. This is insane. So we're gonna try this. I don't know if the PTR we will be able to try the Transcendence in the PTR. We will see later, okay, in the PTR testing. If we can test this, oh my god, we gotta replay again the beauty of Javid and Archibald combo. Now going to Sacred Flame, Undispellable, dispels all dots. This is for Javid himself, Javid is able to give himself a golden buff, which is called Sacred Flame, and it dispels all dots effect from Javid before he attacks, including poison and bleed. So somehow, I think they want to increase Javid here first, as the first to get Transcendent, because he is kind of like a counter against Seek, because he specifically is immune to dots, because it dispels all dots effect from Javid before it attacks, but bleed and poison damage takes effect before the Esper attacks. So I don't know which one goes first. Like I've never actually used Javid to counter bleed and poison because he is already paper as he is. Even if he removes the poison and bleed, he dies by direct damage himself. By the enemy's attack. So. It's never that relevant. I mean, like, it doesn't help you that much, But now, because you have a shield, a permanent shield, this is getting more important, you know, because if you have shield, the enemy can still kill you using poison and bleed. But now you will remove that, and this extra damage based on the number of dot effects dispelled, extra damage per effect dispelled, 10% up to 50% attack. Now the change is that the limit on extra damage dealt per effect dispelled has been increased from 50% to 200% of Javid's attack. That means that if you fight against Seek or other poison and bleed Esper, he is a direct counter against them, because now all of his true damage is getting increased. It is based on 200% of Javid's attack, while his attack can be further increased if he dispel poison and bleed effect on himself. So that means that you will have insane amount of attack stats on Javid, and once the enemy get damaged by the Judgment Seal, they gonna explode. They gonna explode. So Resonance Phase 6 effects change. So the old one, Sacred Flame now grants immunity to sleep and stun. And now it grants immunity against sleep, stun, and petrification. This is nice, you know, because as we all know, if you play PvP a lot in Dislyte, you know that Chehe is insanely annoying because she has a permanent petrification, and every single lineup nowadays have Chehe in them. Yeah. So to make Javid even more relevant in the current PvP situation, they include the petrification in here. So that means that Javid can only be stopped using freeze. Yeah. And it dispels all debuffs from Javid instead of just dot effects before he launches an attack. So he cannot be debuffed. That is insane. Well, he can still be debuffed. Like here's the thing about this sentence here. You know, before Javid moves, if the enemy put defense down on Javid and Javid hasn't moved yet, that means that he still have the defense down. So the enemy attack will get benefit from that defense down. They will kill Javid faster. Only when Javid moves, then he will dispel all of those debuffs, you know, and it no longer applies. So you can count it as like just like Jinyu Yao, you know, like Jinyu Yao's debuff removal, but this is only for himself and to all debuffs for Javid himself only. So yeah, that is Javid. I definitely gonna take him to Transcendence. Obviously gonna be using him, you know, a lot more. I've been using him in Triple Threat, but I'm gonna be using him in an actual beat bout knockout and point war once I get him to Transcendence. And most likely gonna be the target of my either 4th or 5th level 70 Esper, obviously, because if you increase his level to 70, that means that his attack will get further increased. That means that the true damage that he gonna deal will be further increased, which is insane. You know, the only thing he needs is for him and Archibald to cast their 3rd skill and wait for the enemy to die themselves. if you you know, if you want to see this, let me go. Oh my god, I keep pressing wrong. Let me see. Debuff that connects it all. We gotta rewatch this again, okay? We're gonna rewatch this again. This is the moment where I found Javid and Archibald combo. You know, at that day, nobody pulled Archibald. I was probably the only one who pulled Archibald. And so everything changed once I showed them this. You know, they finally know the strength of Javid and Archibald. Like before Archibald came out, nobody pulled Javid and nobody pulled Archibald. Look at those red numbers. So the way these things work is this, you know, Javid's Judgment Seal inflicts true damage to 2 random enemies anytime they get damage from any source. For Archibald debuff one swing inflicts damage to all enemies every time someone from the enemy side take a turn. That means that if the enemy as per A moves, all 5 of them will receive damage, which gonna trigger Javid's Judgment Seal that inflicts 2 random damage to true damage to random enemies. So that's how it works. Now, one swing itself will silence the enemy. It is a silver debuff silence, that will never miss. So now here I further improve Archibald's combo by pairing him up with Ethan, because Ethan inflicts 20% maximum HP reduction every time the enemy use their basic ability. And they will definitely use their basic ability because they are silenced by Archibald. Now we take it an even step further with Hilda here. Because for Hilda, she inflicts poison on the enemy that deals percentage maximum HP damage, So that was just now in the VR battleground. The enemy are level 100 and my Javid didn't even use any relic. And we managed to kill them from 100% HP to 0%, without any equipment. So now with the 200% attack from Javid translated into the true damage, we will definitely see an even crazier combo than this. And now here, I'm using this combo in PvP. Back then, there was no Wuyo, there was no, Chuyao, who can just dispel any kinds of debuffs every single turn. These are the enemies that they use, mostly are HP based esper, especially the Jin Yao back then. Jin Yao are all the hype back then, and even Jin Yao died by this debuff. Look at this. This is Jin Yao, Resonance 6, and look what happened to Jin Yao. I forgot to reduce the volume just now. The whole time I was talking, but I think you get the gist of it. Just look at the combo. It is very nice. It kills even Jin Yao herself, who are very good against the buff. So yeah, that's how Javid and Archibald combo works. And look at it, I put them together with Ethan and Hilda, and this is the damage that they can deal. Back then, PvP just get a huge change, because for PvP back then, the speed team are king. Whoever moves first, they're gonna win, because all the espers are paper. So they change it into that, in PvP, Esper have like 1.5 times more HP, like 150% more HP. So the meta shifts into an HP based Esper, because the tank team are unkillable back then. They have too much HP, especially when you have Leon, Jin Yao, Sally, all those HP based Esper. Like they will outlive you. That's basically the strategy back then. But with Javid and Archibald, there's no outliving their true damage, because their true damage deal 100% of the enemy's maximum HP, which just kill them no matter how much HP they have. So beautiful. So beautiful, you know. Look at that. Synchronized death. Once you put all the debuffs on the enemy, like within 2 turns, they all die. And this is the PvE, you know. This is the PvE. What happens if you use all these debuffs on PvE? And this is what happened. Back then we don't have Link's Wall, we don't have Elif, we don't have an easy kill on enemies. Like they have insane amount of HP. So Intisar still was my best Esper, you know, because he deals percentage HP damage back then. So I can just easily clear the content. And now we have Javid and Archibald who also kills the rest of them. So that's it for tonight analysis, guys. So yeah, we will see in the PTR testing, you know. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video, PTR testing. Bye bye.